guys, how are you doing today? It's another Saturday, and Mark is. I know today Mark is in a good mood.
Yeah.
Gotta give him credits for that.
Yeah, I'm being positive right now.
Thank
Because this episode is quite negative, to be honest. So I have to be like initially like positive.
Yeah, we actually hung out last night with one of our designers,
Well, yeah.
and
It's not like we were hangover or something like that, right? It's literally just like because we slept really late. Yeah.
We were pretty traumatized by the story of cockroaches in one of our designers' house, and then Mark kind of being an expert in cockroaches, aka a cockroachologist.
No, because I don't know. It's like cockroaches are like my fucking enemy now. You know, either mental health or fucking cockroaches, and sometimes they are just like they try to play around with me. So I kind of have to fucking study it.
I feel like one thing leads to another.
Did you see the comparison between mental health and cockroaches? Sure, fucking hell. Yeah.
It's equally terrible.
Yeah, and today's topic, as you guys can guess, is about mental health.
Well, yeah.
Specifically, living with mental health in Vietnam.
Yeah, I think to me personally, at the moment, like I don't have the episodes that I had in Australia. So basically, like I'm doing fine. I don't have to go and see like psychiatrists and things like that. So it's a plus. But when it comes to, I think, like the help that we need, then at the moment, Vietnam is still very inadequate, especially like places that we can go to. Even, you know, like the inner circles, like families or friends, or, you know, like psychiatrists in general. It can be a downside for people who are having that at the moment. It's just like, to me, at the moment, I don't, well, not necessarily say that I don't, but like, it's not frequently like I used to have in Australia, because like at that time, you know, it's literally like every fucking workload kind of got into me, and sometimes I just don't want to fucking like get up, you know, because I don't want another tomorrow to kind of come, because it leads to all the problems and all the overthinkings. But yeah, I'm not chiller now. I think like I'm more comfortable with myself now, I think. So the episodes occasionally kind of happen, but it's not that much. No, not to say like a big deal, but like it's still something that is still there. It's just like it's not happening that frequently, you know? Yeah.
I think my experience with mental health would be that I know about mental health since I came to RMIT. But it kind of never hit me that I actually have mental problems.
Yeah.
Like, I know the symptoms, I know the names, but when, you know, I have depression, but then it's kind of always this big, huge fucking thing that I don't think I would ever kind of step into.
Yeah.
Until, like, one time later on, I kind of read about the symptoms again, and then I was like, fuck, this is me.
Yeah, the thing about like having it here is that sometimes it's often just you who found out that you have mental health. It's not like about like the outsider who kind of gives you advices on that, you know. So most of the time, that's why people don't really know that they have mental issues. Not even health, just issues in general. Because again, it comes back to the awareness, the education. Here in Vietnam, we don't really talk about mental health that much. If it's not in the trinity of like fucking, you know, mental health issues, you know, PTSD, depression, or I think anxiety are like three trinity that like we often talk about. But like the other kind of mental health diseases, like we don't care, I think.
Yeah, it's not yet a priority here in Vietnam. You can like rarely find help in the city, not to mention like in the countryside or
Wow, yeah. The countryside is
in
even
the
more
rural
fucked.
areas. Like they don't even think about that at all.
Well, yeah, we don't want to go too far, but basically, yeah, like when it comes to countryside, pretty sure like they are very inadequate in a lot of things, because they don't have access to like education like in the city. But because we are living in the city and we have the education that we got, I think it's still very inadequate, you know, because people, I think, they're also kind of afraid to talk about it as well, because again, sure, like the parents don't want their children to have this kind of thing, you know, or else they're just gonna deem it as misbehaviors and stuff like that. So I get it, but it needs more attention, especially at our age, because I'm pretty advocate for a balance, not a good, but like a balanced mental health, because like sometimes sure you can have like fucking deep fucking dark thoughts, but you need to balance it with like some positive vibes. Oh shit, I'm saying vibes now. Shit.
Positive vibes.
I'm literally
alive.
well, shit. But you get what I mean. Like it's like a balance. You need a balance. So it's fine to have, you know, self doubts or maybe hurtful thoughts about yourself. But if you can know that it's like a thing that you can improve, or you can make that as a, I don't know, as like you want to do better or something.
Yeah, I think the first step is always awareness. Like you have to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And then you can get better, because I think for a long time,
And not just us, remember.
not just us, like everyone.
Yeah, people also, you know.
Yeah, because for a long time I was in denial
Mm.
that I'm not having this.
Yeah.
You know, like for a long time, like for years, I was just like, I'm just being lazy, I'm just being unmotivated. And then I looked up a bunch of like how to motivate yourself, how to stop being lazy, how to have self-discipline.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit doesn't work.
Again, procrastination is also kind of like a symptoms that defines an underlying problem, you know. Are you procrastinating because of something? Burnout? Or you're just tired? But what are you tired about? You know, like it has to have like a lead up, not just like, oh, okay, so you're lazy and that's it. You know, like
ask questions.
yeah.
But that's how like people normally deal with symptoms like
Yeah.
that. They would automatically assume that the person is just lazy
Mm.
or tired.
Yeah, misbehaviors, you know, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of undermined it a lot for the bigger problem that is actually there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just, I think, a step further from the countryside in terms of we actually pinpoint that it is a problem, but we do not go to the further extent to create actually a space for anyone to actually talk about it. Hence why we're still like, what am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because like the society in Vietnam, you know, like we don't really want to talk about it. You know, it's not even like because they are afraid, but it's just like they don't want their children or their friends to have it. So they're just like, oh man, you'll be fine, you know, it's okay. You be happy. So it's not like ill-intended, but it's just very
It's like a big
lack of,
in
you know,
denial bubble.
in denial bubble,
Yeah.
basically, yeah. So it's a big fucking thing because it leads to like unawareness and also like uneducated about mental health. You don't necessarily have to know a lot, but you know, just catch up the symptoms.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you had several episodes in Australia.
Yeah.
And what do you think are the differences of having mental issues in Australia versus having it here in Vietnam?
Again, I think like it's kind of similar to you, but I was kind of in denial as well. I was like, oh my god, you know, maybe I'm just fucking worried too much. Maybe I'm just overthinking. But the fact is like, because even on the train, there is like an organization called Beyond Blue. It's a mental health organization, and they have like poster on pretty much every train. And it's very interesting because it's like, it shows one thinking like, oh my god, I'm late. And then they just kind of have arrows, you know, like showing up all of the different thoughts that just stems from one thing about like, oh my god, I'm late. And I'm like, oh fuck, that's me. So again, it comes back to like the awareness, or at least like the recognition of mental health in people in general. And that's how I think like it's very different in Vietnam, because I don't see a lot of information that can help people to self-identify as having, you know, like this kind of like issues, you know. Yeah, it's really interesting because like I actually saved it on my photo because I don't know, it's very relatable So yeah, like it has an abundance of like help, and I'm not saying like it's helpful or not, but like help in general, like they have a lot of it, and it's more common, to talk about mental health, more so, when comparing to like talks in Vietnam, because like sometimes when you talk about depression or this kind of mental health issues, most of the time it's kind of play around as a joke as well. So, and especially for depressive people, that's like a no-go,
Yeah.
because it's literally like undermine them, and I don't like that. So yeah, I actually got in touch with Beyond Blue once, so it's really helpful. Basically, like the tone of voice they have as well, like they really understand what I was going through, or they pretend to go, and try to understand. Psychologist that I saw was also fantastic. I think like the manner of speech that they have is also quite comforting. It makes you kind of want to kind of spill everything out, which also lacks in Vietnam as well. But most of the time, I think it stems from like the general awareness that kind of differentiate, in Australia and also in Vietnam. It's very fortunate that maybe I'm fine now, so I don't really have to go further to seek help. But if I was not fine, then it's pretty fucked.
Yeah, I actually went to a psychiatrist once, only one time. I talked to my parents about me having depression, and my mom was pretty accepting.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that she took like 2 fucking months to find a psychiatrist, and I was going crazy during that time.
Yeah.
And for my dad, when I told him that, he's like, "Nah, you're not having depression."
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just fully in denial, like you're not having it. They're just saying it to get money from you and to get you to have medication or something like that. And I was like, "No, Dad, I'm being serious."
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I have to proceed to tell him that I actually have suicidal thoughts, for him to like, "Oh, that's serious then." So yeah, in a way they're not ignorant, but they themselves were in denial as well. So it was kind of a difficult process for me.
Yeah. And it's very exhausting, to be honest, like to tell your parents that, like, I think they have some fucking invisible kind of weaknesses, that they can't see. Sure, it's pretty fucking hard to sometimes identify someone as having like depression, because sometimes they can be like in a bliss. And sometimes if they are sad, then most of the time they would stay at home. So you don't even know what the fuck were they having, So I know it's hard, and especially like generational shit, like our fucking parents, like they had to care about all the things, like materialistically, so physical kind of thing. So they always have this kind of mentality where they have to see the physical evidence in a way, because they have to take care of like, like during the Đổi Mới era and all this shit like that, being a bit historically,
Actually, do you see a lot of mental issues in like elder people? For example, our parents or our grandparents?
Yeah, I think like they have the symptoms. It's just like most of the time they are so in denial, which is not a bad thing, okay? But like they so kind of just try to make it as something that is like, nah, you know what? It's just me, I have to be happy.
Oh yeah, that excuse, like it's just me and that's who I am. I heard that a lot. Like our parents would very often say, "Oh, I'm just worried."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The degree of worriness that they're having is kind of worries me.
Yeah. No, yeah.
To a great extent, because like, for example, like I went out late and I came home and they cannot sleep. They have to sit there and be like, "I'm waiting. Why are you not coming home? What could happen?" Like, and I'm like, "I'm fine."
Yeah, because like one time, you have, we all knew about this, but like our parents' kind of period was very difficult. Like at that time, I remember my mom often said like, when she was having me, she also have to work overtime as well to kind of get like the income that my family needed at the time. So in a way, like the sense of communalism stems from the fact that like they cannot care about themselves because they don't have time. Now it's like peacetime now. Like our country is doing great. So in a way, like we have more individualistic ideals that kind of just got released, and I think it's a good thing, you know, because like for my personal experience, when I first said that I had mental health with my family and especially my mom, I was quite surprised that like maybe she didn't really understood it at the time, but she relent at least, you know, like she maybe she heard something that is like really sincere about my voice, because I was like fucking desperate, you know, like I literally wanted to get the fuck out, not like Australia, but just like get the fuck out of like the things I got. So when I called my mom, it was like a breaking point, and I kind of fucking assumed that maybe she would say like, you got like only 1 year left, you know, just try hard. And she did say that, by the way. But I kind of explained to her a few more times, and then she kind of relented, and she said, you know what, okay, so what do you want to do? So at this time, I was quite surprised because she led me to decide. And it's a good thing, you know, because like I thought that, you know, like generational shit would kind of barricade the communication that we have. But yeah, so that's why I think like I'm doing okay now, because at least I have a support from family, but some people don't have that privilege as well. So yeah.
Yeah, just to clarify, that was your second year, the end of your second year in ETH.
Yeah, it's like middle to end of like my second semester. So I literally have like 1 year left, and then I would graduate, but like I don't know, I just can't fucking, I couldn't take it, you know, like the workload. And you have to remember, maybe I didn't really like go full on specific about my time in Australia, but like you have to remember it was okay for starter, like when you were doing 2D drawings, it takes at least like a day, and then by maybe in the evening, you came to the university, and then you start to draw 3D models. And that's not the end of it, because like at midnight around like 2, you would start making models. And then at 9 a.m. in the morning the next day, you would have to go to the printer and then wait in line and then pay money to, you know, like to print out like A0s, which is a fucking big type of paper. So it's like, it's exhausting. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the work that I was doing. I didn't like the progress I was making as well. So, you know, it's just like fucking overthinking, exhaustion, everything, you know, and then being alone there as well, because like, sure, I have friends, but, you know, like sometimes, or maybe just because of my personality, I want to be alone sometimes, and it's not helpful in that situation. So, you know, it's just like I couldn't take it, so like I need to fuck off, you know, either to do another major, and then, which I did, but like at that time I was thinking about maybe I should stay in Australia because I already here, you know, like. But then I don't know, like after some discussion with me and my mom, and then yeah, I just decided to come back, maybe for financial as well. But like, it turned out great, I think. And yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could say that you're doing better now.
I'm doing better, yeah, for sure. Cause like I got a lot of like time for me to reflect about myself, you know, because at that time I was fucking behind people, and that's not a great feeling at all. Yeah, maybe, because like I don't know, like sometimes, sure, I procrastinate the shit out of like the time I was in Australia, but it's not just because I was lazy. It was also because of like, you know, just literally like I sat down somewhere in the dark corner, literally that very edgy, but like, you know, I just fucking have like all of these fucking thoughts, you know, like the fuck am I? Am I good fucking enough? Am I doing fucking well? No, I'm not. That is like a very clear answer, by the way. But yeah, like it's just like that, and ends the day immediately, you know. It's like I have this kind of like passing through time kind of vibe, you know. Oh shit, I say vibe again. You know, it's like, yeah, it's like I look up in the clock. I look up to the clock and it's already fucking like 8 p.m. or something, and I have to eat. But then I eat and then I feel like, oh my god, why am I eating instead of doing work? And it leads to like a bunch of, you know, like all the questions. So basically, you know, like just to clarify, I didn't really have depression. I just have severe anxiety. If you guys don't know, it's just like a step back towards depression in a way, but it's not as severe as depression. So ironically, I think like it's better, you know, to just have that. But like, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me the worst time was in second year, third year in university.
It's always the second year, to be
always the
honest,
middle.
because like it's like the breaking point.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally the breaking point. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I really love what I was studying at school.
Yeah.
Like really love that. But
Yeah.
then sometimes I would just want to fucking disappear.
Mm.
And many times I did.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sorry for my teammates and my friends who have to deal with that.
To lost Jen.
Sorry. As I said, I was in denial, so I didn't really look into that.
Yeah.
And my mom was actually asking questions as well. But then because me myself didn't know what I was dealing with, so I didn't really told her that.
Yeah.
And her advice was just to like try my best. And she knew that I could do so much more. Not until like I told her that I have issues, that she was pretty calm, to my surprise. And she said that it's okay, it's a normal thing.
That's pretty fucking progressive, to be honest.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it is. And she would kind of calm me down.
Mm.
And because I was just fucking sobbing at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, she actually looked for help, which took about 2 months. I'm still very salty about that, but thank you, Mom. Actually, I talked to Marc a lot at that time. I just want to fucking go to the big hospital and get my brain scanned to know, like, statistically, my brain is kind of problematic.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
You can do that.
So okay, Mom, Dad, look, this is some
Oh,
evidence.
statistics.
Yeah, statistics.
Of my brain cells that showcase that I have depression manics.
Yeah.
What? Do like a presentation, you know, like fucking.
Yeah, because I thought that was kind of necessary.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because at that time I just want to pinpoint like what is wrong with me. But then I did go to a psychiatrist, just one appointment actually, and she actually gave me an advice. Actually, she gave me homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day I have to write down 10 things that I like about myself. And I procrastinate the shit out of it.
It's literally like backfires.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if 10 things weekly, then I could do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
10 things daily, I'm like, fuck. I can't even name one thing that I like about myself.
I think that's another problem though. You don't know what you love about yourself. I think it's
Yeah.
literally the main point of that fucking exercise. You gotta know what you love about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like I used to be very fucking insecure about myself, so I kind of understand the exercise, but I know like, you know, it's kind of suck.
Yeah, I do understand the point of the exercise. It's just, I cannot bring myself to do it. Anyway.
Yeah.
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 So you've never end up doing it.
I tried, but then I kind of stop at 3 things and then I don't do it the next time.
So you didn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Jesus Christ. No, yeah, I don't know, like homeworks. If I was in your shoes, I would probably not doing as well, because like my homework is literally just like breathe. You know,
Like
just like breathe in, breathe out. Like that's literally like the main exercise that I got, and it's actually helped.
She actually gave me a pretty legit advice.
Yeah.
That I find really enlightening. You know, when you're being sad, you're being depressive, and people would just tell you to cheer up. That's okay, it'll go away. But then she told me that, okay, so do you think about the food that you eat each meal?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm being picky as fuck. And then she said, how many hours per day do you spend eating? I'm like, I think 2 or 3 hours or something. And then she asked me, how many hours a day do you spend thinking then? I'm like, well, as long as I'm awake, and even maybe when I'm asleep, you know.
Mm-mm.
And then she said that, and your thoughts are the food for your brain, right? Then why don't you pick the food for your brain then? When
Yeah.
you're being so picky about the food you put in your stomach,
Yeah.
why don't you be picky about the thoughts that you think throughout the day? And I was like, wow, yeah, I actually didn't
That's
think
actually
about that.
very
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got their degree for a fucking reason,
Yeah.
you know? Like, they gotta fucking relate something to you.
Yeah, so
And,
she
yeah.
actually gave me a solution to
Mm.
that, and she said that, okay, so every day you would give yourself 30 minutes just to have negative thoughts,
Mm.
but then outside that 30 minutes, you have to force yourself to think positive thoughts in a way.
Mm.
And if negative thoughts by chance come by, then you can just procrastinate and save that for later. And if that negative hour come and
Yeah.
you can't think of anything negative, just let it pass. And then do it the same in the next day. And I was like, wow, okay, no one actually told me that before. They would just tell me to, light up, cheer up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the first time that someone actually gave me a solid solution to,
Yeah.
to my mental problems.
Yeah, basically what we need now is, like people who ask further questions instead of like just end the sentence by be okay. The awareness, because like right now, sure, like when you see the news, you see like stories about, like the anxiety that students got when they are getting into exams or suicides. It sucks, but like at least we are having a certain degree of awareness here. It's just we need more, because like it's not going to end by high school. It's literally like the starting point of fucking like mental health. So we need more of that. And I think like for your exercise, it sounds kind of fucking fucked if it says like you need to kind of condense your negative energy and force yourself to do it. But I actually really get it, because like that is like the first stage. You need to force yourself to do that first in order to find a balance later. Because sometimes if you don't force yourself and you think like, what the fuck you mean, man? Like I can't fucking force it. Then you can never balance it, because I advocate for a balanced thinking. So it's fine for you to have negative, but you also have to have positive as well, because negative in a way can make you very retrospective. You get what I mean? Like you can learn a lot about negativity, and it's fine for you being cynical and being a bit like a downer. Sometimes, like
Marc.
it kind of reels you up a little bit, instead of like just too much like happiness going on, and you create a bubble, So it's the first step, and it's fine. And one thing that I often say to you guys, or even my friends, if they are having any problem, tell me. It's very hard. I know it's very fucking hard to just like, dude, I have fucking suicidal thoughts now, because I don't even know if I could handle it, But like, I advocate for people to just feel relaxed towards me, and then somehow they feel the need to talk to me, because sometimes I would not be able to help, but at least I would listen. And that's a fucking thing that I used to not have in Australia, because like my friends, sure, they listen, but like because they don't really know about it, and it's fine. But like I know some about like mental health, so I know at least that I can help in a certain degree. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that's just all that people need, someone to like listen. The thing that I like about psychiatrists, psychiatrist stories, well, you can tell.
Well,
I haven't seen any psychiatrists. Not that I have a very grounded life, but
just go on. Jesus Christ.
Disclaimer.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, the thing that I like about psychiatrists, I think, is because they give a path for you to figure it out by yourself,
Yeah.
instead of like giving you an answer.
Yeah.
Because in daily life,
Yeah.
that's what people tend to do.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when you tell them something, they would be like, "Oh, you should do this," and you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then psychiatrists would be like, "Okay, here's something you can do
Yeah.
to figure out what you should do."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that helps a lot. But with the situation that we have here, maybe someone like Mark would be something that we need.
Yeah.
Just for people.
At
to
least
have-
for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least for people to feel comfortable talking about it, and also like, I feel like my relationship with mental health just developed from the fact that I talk to my friends, or my friends talk to me about
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
mental
yeah.
health, and then I kind of like, oh wow, I actually experienced that before, but I didn't know the term for it. And I was like, oh, so I actually had that problem.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just talking about it in a way helps a lot.
Yeah.
It's a great first step to figuring out anything, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when you see in the movies, you know, see psychiatrists fucking having like boards and shit, it's fucking fictional, you know. Don't fucking worry about that shit. It's not an evaluation, it's basically a talk between two friends. Because like mine, it's literally like she was talking about her fucking story. Maybe fake, I don't know. But it sounds relatable enough for me to like, okay, cool, man. Okay, yeah, I'm open up to you now, you know. So listen. You know, it's not like you are lying down and then, you know, like bored and shit, and then they like fucking write something like maybe like you were a bitch or something. They're not doing that. Basically they gonna listen and then, you know, give you like sure pats, like Thương said. And so yeah, like what we need right now in Vietnam, especially for people who are having this kind of thing, is that one, general awareness, maybe just awareness in general firstly. Secondly, actions. Ask questions, or friends. You know, like sometimes if you feel comfortable enough with a friend, you feel like he is trustworthy, then sure, you can tell him. Maybe just tell him like the general consensus of like what you are dealing with. Yeah, and maybe with parents as well, with family. Try to tell them. I know it's fucking hard. I know it's a fucking challenge, but if you really are suffering from it, then family is, yeah, I say it's one of the best medicines for you at this moment, you know. And then friends.
I feel like if you really sit down with your family and like not throw at them the sentences like, I think I have depression.
Yeah,
You
don't
have
say
to
that.
say
No.
like, I'm experiencing this kind of symptoms. Really break it down, then they can really relate to it, and then they will take it more seriously.
Yeah, have a real talk.
Yeah.
Not just like, yeah, you know, like making catchphrases, you know, because like it really throws people off, and that's also like another problem, I think. Is that you just say, oh my god, I'm depressed. Okay, sure, but like how depressed are you?
Yeah.
Or what symptoms are you fucking having now?
Yeah.
Because if you only say that, like, I don't know, because I see a lot of people doing that,
Yeah.
and it doesn't sound really genuine to me, or maybe I'm really judgy because I don't know, but it doesn't feel sincere because like you are talking about something that I consider very important, but in a manner that I just don't like. Maybe you're not really having that, you know. You are doing that as an excuse or something. I don't know, but like yeah.
I kind of remembering back to the time when I told my dad I had depression, and yeah, the whole time he was in denial until he finally accepted his daughter had some issues, and then on the way back home he was just kind of talk about how social media affects your mental health, which it does, but it's not the only problem.
Yeah.
And I had to like stop him and like, Dad, please just stop. And can you just spend 2 or 3 days to fully look into mental health and depression?
Yeah.
And he actually did that. So I'm really thankful, even though he still thinks that social media is the main reason why we have mental issues.
Well, yeah, like some things never change.
Yeah.
You just like, you know, give them.
But yeah, he was the one who pushed me to get dance classes or join in some physical activities to boost dopamine or something like that. And yeah, it actually helps.
Yeah, so right now, again, you know, in Vietnam, we are taking steps. And I like that because like, wow, you know, VTV News, we are talking about mental health now. so it's great, you know, like it's really fucking fantastic. So, you know, like it's a progress. At least better than a lot of countries, to be honest. South Korea, man, fucking hell. Japan, because I saw a documentary about like overwork, fucking issue in Japan, and anyway. So yeah, like we are taking steps. Talk with your family, if you can. Talk with a friend that you can trust, and you know, try to spread general awareness, because I often do that. You know, if my mom and my dad kind of make the callous kind of fucking comments about, it's just a fucking issue. No, it's really kind of not, because like it can be underlying, but sometimes it can hit you, and when it hit you, it's kind of fucked. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, and we understand that not everyone had the luxury of having someone who would actually listen to you. But yeah, we would really encourage you to find someone to talk to. These are the few Facebook pages that I found that they actually talk about mental health, and I think that you can find some help over there.
Yeah.
The first one is Beautiful Mind Vietnam. It's very common, and they have some very good psychiatrists, and they do have some offline events as well.
Yeah.
Mostly in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. So
Yeah.
The second one is In Psych Out. It's
Wow.
in and then PSYCH.
Well, yeah.
In Psych Out.
Jesus.
It's a new ongoing project.
Okay.
It's a good one. A Crazy Mind. Or a pretty new one recently is Monster Box. They have they talk about a bunch of philosophical stuff. But they do have a mental health week, which have some pretty good writings, and you guys can look into that as well.
Yeah. If you are in Australia, like one of our members, then Beyond Blue, or you know, I think like psychiatrists in your health department of your university would help you in a certain degree. Yeah. So if you have any problems at the moment, sure, like you can, well, not comment, I think. Direct Lost Gen, and
you can send messages.
let's see what we can help.
Yeah.
You know, because like again, I'm not a fucking psychiatrist, but I know a lot about this kind of shit, because I actually was in a conference with a lot of people who were in a worse state than myself. So, you know, I at least I know that I would try to help, and I can help a little bit. So if you have any problems, tell us. It's fine. You know, you don't have to go full on like, oh my god, or anything like that. It's just like, I think I have this. I think I'm feeling down like this. I'm feeling blues. I would say why, and then, you know, etc. So yeah. No, not for this episode. Look at living with mental health. It kind of proves that you are living with it. Well.
Hi guys.
Thì mà nghe kiểu nghe rất mệt mỏi. I think one thing that I actually talk about, one thing that I did advocate as well. Oh no, what the fuck was that fucking sentence? That's a weird fucking English sentence.
Wow, talk about having positive thoughts.
No. Well, yeah, retrospective, right? Like I literally learned from like my